Hello, everyone. Welcome to Is This the Norm? I'm Rebecca.
I'm Heather.
And I'm Laura. So, as you have probably gathered from the title of today's episode, we're going to be discussing the history of the marathon. I always find it ironic that oftentimes coaches or teachers or motivational speakers will refer to running a marathon as a way to motivate someone in achieving some goal, whether it be athletic, academic, or professional. A marathon seems to be a standard comparison for people to use to motivate. I find this ironic because less than 1% of the population has run a marathon, yet you always hear leaders saying, you don't just wake up one day and decide to run a marathon. You have to train, eat a healthy diet, and this can take months, which requires patience and dedication, blah, 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 right? I'm sure.
And that's why I have not ran a marathon.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And
and I'm sure many of...
Sorry, Laura.
Go ahead.
For me, it's like I have other reasons why. Like, it's not just the dedication and time, but, we can talk about what we've done and how that looks later. But it's kind of funny why each person does it, or maybe why they don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I'm sure, lots of you guys have been sitting in a conference somewhere or at a team meeting and have heard this very much from people, motivating you to do whatever it is that you're trying to achieve and to stay committed to it. So how about we talk about where this all started? We're going to go all the way back to 490 BC when Pheidippides, who was sent by an Athenian general to run from Athens, Greece to Sparta, Greece, it's about 140 miles, to ask for aid in the battle against the Persians in Marathon, Greece. So the journey took him about 36 hours to complete, but this isn't the standout story you would expect it to be, because what has influenced the modern day marathon is what happened after the Battle of Marathon. Legend has it that Pheidippides ran from Marathon, Athens, about 25 miles or 40 kilometers to announce Nike, meaning victory. Then he collapsed and succumbed to his death. A little side note, no, this is not where the tennis shoe brand Nike got its name. The co-founder Phil Knight got it from the Greek goddess of victory, whose name is Nike. So not from Pheidippides. Now, there were historians who recorded these two events, the 140-mile run and the marathon run. But the latter was recorded hundreds of years after the Battle of Marathon. So it's unlikely he ran to announce victory, then died immediately after. But of course, it sounds heroic. And so this is where we get our first modern day distance for the marathon. Today, the distance for a full marathon is 26.2 miles. Initially, when I started running long distance, I thought that 26.2 miles was just another distance that added up to a round number in kilometers, but it's actually 42.2 kilometers. So most runs are measured in kilometers. So you do like a 5K, which is 3 miles, a 10K, which is 6 miles. So a marathon is not a round kilometer.
I didn't know that.
It's 42.2 kilometers.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. That's funny.
Mm-hmm. I did the math one day and I was like, this is odd. And then so that's what sparked my curiosity.
Well, and the other thing is you never see a marathon advertised in kilometers.
Yeah, it's always in miles.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what is this arbitrary 26.2 miles all about? Well, in the beginning, it wasn't 26.2 miles. The first Olympic marathon was in 1896, and it was 24.85 miles or 40 kilometers long, starting from the Marathon Bridge and ending in let me try that again. Panathinaik Stadium in Athens in honor of Pheidippides' victory run. But
these words, oh my God, you're doing great.
In 1908, the Olympics were held in London, and Queen Alexandra had a special request. She wanted the race to start on the lawn at Windsor Castle, and she wanted it to end in front of her royal box at the White City Stadium because she's important.
Yeah.
Originally, the marathon was going to be 26 miles long, but to accommodate Queen Alexandra's request, they had to add 385 yards to finish the race directly in front of her royal box. From Windsor Castle to White City Stadium, it's a total of 26.2 miles. So there is some controversy as to why this 385 yards was added to the final distance. Some say it's because they had to move the start line further back so the little royals could watch from their nursery window at Windsor Castle. And some speculate it's because of the added lap at the end in front of the royal box at the stadium. Originally, this 26.2-mile length was supposed to just be a one-off length to accommodate the Queen, but later became the standard as we know it.
Yeah, she had a lot of kids in her. She actually went by Queen Victoria, but her real name was Alexandria.
Yeah.
So she had 8, I think, or 10.
Oh boy, that's a lot for back then too.
Yeah.
In 1912, the Olympics were held in Stockholm, Sweden, and the marathon was shortened to 24.98 miles or 40.2 kilometers because there wasn't an established official distance yet. So they catered to the local terrain and shortened the length over concerns for high temperatures that day. In fact, even with a shorter distance, unfortunately, one Portuguese runner did perish from extreme heat stroke. It was a terrible marathon, in fact. Of the 68 participants that attempted it, only 36 finished the grueling race.
Wow.
Then in 1920, they had the Olympic marathon in Antwerp, Belgium, and it was 26.56 miles or 42.75 kilometers long, making it the longest marathon in history. I couldn't find why it was this distance, but I'm assuming that it was because there was still no standardized length yet established. The race started and ended at the Olympic Stadium in Antwerp, so my best guess is that they had to accommodate the terrain of the land. The winner of this marathon was Hannes Kolemäinen of Finland, and he finished in 2 hours, 32 minutes, and 35.8 seconds. That's a 5-minute and 44-second mile pace for 26 and a half miles.
No, that's
That's
just
crazy. That is so fast. So finally, in 1921, the International Association of Athletic Federations, known presently as World Athletics, adopted the 26.2 mile or 42.2 kilometers as the official distance of the marathon. So why, you ask, did the Federation choose Queen Alexandra's marathon distance over the OG marathoner Phidippides? No one knows for certain. A good guess is that it's because of the popularity of that particular race where an Italian runner, Durando Pietri, took the lead at the end of the course as he was entering into the White City Stadium. After he entered, he took a wrong turn and in his exhaustion ended up collapsing. He was then helped to his feet and assisted across the finish line by race officials, winning first place. But Team USA petitioned for the second place winner, Johnny Hayes, who eventually was awarded the gold medal after Durando was disqualified. He was disqualified because he didn't cross the finish line by himself.
Yeah.
Queen Alexandra sympathized with Durando, as many fans did also, and awarded him a special cup as a consolation, which I thought was sweet. So here we are talking about all these men running, and now we ask, what about the women athletes? It wasn't until 1984 in the Los Angeles Olympics that women officially competed in the Olympic marathon. Now, that is the Olympics, but women were competing elsewhere prior to 1984. Not legally at first.
Yeah.
So in 1966, Roberta Gibb ran the Boston Marathon in 3 hours, 21 minutes, and 40 seconds, but did not register. She ran the course without a bib number. She was told by the race director, Will Clooney, that she couldn't compete in the race, so she hid out near the start line, then waited until about half the participants started and jumped in the race. Like, she was just meant to be there. She soon found that the men running the race were encouraging and the fans were cheering her on. Eventually, the press caught on to her presence and began reporting on her progress. But in 1967, Catherine Schweitzer, who most of you are probably more familiar with and have seen pictures of, decided she was going to register for the event under the initials KV Schweitzer, and she obtained a bib number, becoming the first woman to officially compete in the Boston Marathon. She, on the other hand, was not received so well. She did complete the race in 4 hours and 20 minutes, but while she was running the race, manager Jacques Simple tried to tear off her bib. Her trainer and her boyfriend were close by and luckily intervened. Her boyfriend eventually knocked Simple to the ground to get him to release her.
Good.
He's like this older looking guy, and her boyfriend was stout. Like, I don't think he probably was much of a runner. He was just kind of there with her. He didn't really have like the runner physique. He was just like pure muscle. And so anyway, this Simple guy had to just be out of his mind. The assault was photographed, and in the response to the incident, the AAU, or the Amateur Athletic Union, officially banned women from competing against men. So when she registered, women weren't explicitly excluded, so she wasn't actually breaking any official rules. But then they decided later after this incident that they put that in writing, women couldn't. Yeah, so like women were only allowed to run like a mile and a half prior to this. Like women weren't,
What?
yeah, they only had races that were a mile and a half long. Like women weren't allowed to
That's when I
run more
warm
than
up.
that. Yeah. So if you look up the photos, it was a serious assault. This guy was like grabbing at her and like pulling her backwards.
Yeah, that's the one I
And
have
then
in
you
my
can,
head
yeah, and you can
that I've
see
seen.
her boyfriend just instantly come to her aid and take this guy out. It's really sad, and honestly, I'm sure most of our listeners have even seen this photo. It's a
Mm-hmm.
very famous photo
Yeah.
that you can see in a lot of like women's rights movements and things like that. So I'm sure a lot of people are probably familiar with her. Now, it wasn't until 1972 that they finally implemented the women's division. And in 1974, Catherine Schweitzer ran the Boston Marathon. I'm getting a little emotional just reading this. It's just amazing that she fought so hard for this, and she fought so hard for women. And it's because of her that, I get to run long distance races. And so, anyhow, very cool. After completing the marathon, Simple actually awarded her a trophy, kind of signaling their reconciliation. So they did eventually come to terms with what had happened, and they got to know each other and, reconciled.
Well, that's
So,
very
yeah,
noble of her because I don't
yeah.
know if I
Well,
would have been able to.
yeah, I think that, just maybe her speaking out and like kind of telling her side of the story, humanizing women. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that it's important for us to speak out. It's important for anybody discriminated against to speak out. So she had a lot of influence on inclusion of women's sports in the Olympics. So she really fought hard for that marathon in Los Angeles. A quote for her before she had reconciled with Simple that I truly love, that I had read it, and I'm going to quote her, says, "I knew if I quit, nobody would ever believe that women had the capacity to run 26 plus miles. If I quit, everyone would say it was a publicity stunt. If I
Mm-hmm.
quit, it would set women's sports back, way back, instead of forward. If I quit, I'd never run Boston. If I quit, Jacques Simple and all those like him would win. My fear and humiliation turned to anger." Maybe this is why the marathon is so often the standard for motivational speaking, because those people, they just don't quit. They
Mm-hmm.
just truly aren't the norm. That's
Yeah,
it.
I
That's all I
agree.
have. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, I know you were kind of like had trepidation of like, is this going to be? I didn't know any of that stuff. I knew the
Yeah.
story about her fighting for us, our women's rights in
Yeah.
Olympics and being able to run the marathon, but no, you had so many tidbits in there that I didn't have any idea. So I thought that was really cool. You've kind of motivated me in my, my excuses for not doing a marathon. My main excuse is that I'm really doesn't interest me that much. I'm not a big runner. Like
Hmm.
I can run. Yeah, I can do
You're a
it,
good runner, that's for sure.
but I don't know about that. I'm okay. But I really, prefer being on the bike. That's where my passion is. And if I'm going to do like 26.2 miles, in my head it's going to be when I do a full iron, full
Hmm.
Ironman versus
Yes.
going out and do. But I know at some point I need to do it. There's so many options about around where I live to do it. It's not like I have to travel. I literally could walk from up on the hill downtown to go
Hmm.
do my marathon if I wanted to. It could be my
Hmm.
warm up, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yeah, I
didn't
think
think
what
I didn't think this was going to be a episode about torture, honestly.
you didn't.
No, I thought this was, I don't know, a history lesson. This sounds like absolute torture to me. It's never something I would do. I just don't understand. I
Yeah,
just don't understand it.
yeah, and I think that that's probably the popular thought behind running a marathon is it is torture, and I think you very few people do have a desire for that. It is hard. It's very hard. Um, I mean, so my journey in running started with Heather running the Canal Caper back where we grew up. It's a 10K, 6 miles, and she was running it. And me and Heather are closer in age than me and Rebecca are. And so me and Heather kind of have this little friendly competition between us in terms of athletics, even though she's always blowing me out of the water. She's my
Not true.
motivation to do things. And I thought, well, gee, if she can run 6 miles, then I can. I should try. I should do it. And so then I started running in college, and just to get through dental hygiene school, it was very stressful for me. So I would go run all my stress out, and then I'd sit down and do my homework. And then I ran the Canal Keeper with Heather, and she beat me. She like had to leave me because I was so freaking slow. And I just did some 10Ks, and then I got pregnant with Coraline when I was in my 30s, and I just had this idea like becoming a new mom, especially of a little girl. I had this bucket list, and I was 30, and there was a lot of things that I just hadn't checked off yet. And I was like, I want to run a half marathon. I want to run a long distance run and just show my little girl that if you have a will, if there's a will, there's a way. And so then I did a half marathon, and then some crazy reason I did a half Ironman while Heather was pregnant. And then I literally crossed the finish line, and she was like, "Hey, Laura, you want to do it again with me?" And I was like, "I'm never doing this again. Are you crazy?" No. And then it was a few years later, then you started doing half Ironmans, and she's just like killing it, doing really, really well. And so then I just recently, 2 years ago, did my first marathon. Very slow. I'm not even going to tell anybody my time. Super duper slow. And I'm just
It
waiting for
wasn't
Heather to,
slow.
I'm waiting for Heather to do a marathon because I know she's going to do it super duper fast. Like I start it, and then she goes and does it better after me. Heather,
Well, you got to understand with
no
the half
glory.
Ironmans, my first one was a doozy. Like, that was terrible. It was so bad that I was so tired afterwards that to go to the bathroom, like, it would took everything in me. And now when I
Yeah.
do a half Iron, I'm like, no big
Yeah.
deal.
You get in
Like, I
shape for
can,
it.
I can drive there. I can drive myself home with all my equipment. Now, granted, I am a lot tired, but you could still, like, I
Yeah.
can push through it. It's not, I mean, I'm almost close to almost 2 hours faster from when I first did it, which is like,
What's an Iron Man?
oh yeah, sorry, I guess we should explain that. So it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
1.2 mile swim, and then a 56-mile bike ride, and then a half marathon.
13.1 run.
Yeah.
That's a half Ironman. A full Ironman is double that.
Ugh, yeah, double all that.
Which,
So
Holy
yeah, you
moly.
have a half
no
Ironman, or
way.
otherwise known as 70.3, which is 70.3 miles, or a full Ironman, which is 140.6 miles. So
Total
2.4
miles of the
mile
swim, bike,
swim,
run.
yeah, 112 bike, and then a marathon.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's what I'm going to do first before I actually just do a marathon, but I don't know. I don't know because it's a
People
different type of
typically people typically
pace.
run a marathon prior to doing it for training though.
Yeah, that actually my training coach says no.
Mm.
You don't need to do that because it's just different. It's a different type of endurance. Like if I just go run a half marathon, I'm going to be probably like 30 to 40 seconds faster on each of my mile, right?
Right.
So you're slower. It's like this endurance that you're doing with that half iron, which I've finally figured out. It's all about nutrition, and you're not going your fastest on each one. You might on your
Well,
swim a little bit just because you're using a lot of your arms and you're in a wetsuit. At least when I swim and where I go to do half irons, so you kind of have a cheat, is what I call it, because you're floating. And then I've done one where river swims, so then you have the current. My very first one had no current. It was in a huge lake that's super cold. And it wasn't not an easy swim, but it depends on where you do these half irons and full irons, and you can kind of, depending on which one you do and where at in the US or other countries for that matter, will determine like you can be a whole 30 minutes faster at one compared to another one because that course is
oh yeah.
harder. Like the one I've done, the very first one I did, it's a pretty hard course. There's a lot of climbing when you do the bike, and the
Mm-hmm.
lake is not easy. Whereas when I did another one that's a river swim, there's not a lot of
Right.
hills to climb. It's a river swim.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends.
Well, I mean, it all depends on the terrain, and the temperature,
Mm-hmm.
like depending on where you
Yes.
are in the country too,
Right.
colder or warmer,
So many
elevation.
variables.
You can't compare one marathon to the other or one
Mm-mm.
triathlon to the other. It's always comparing apples to oranges, even if it's the same one. Every day is
Right.
different.
Right.
What lake was it, Heather? Just out of curiosity, your first
Oh,
one?
Lake Coeur d'Alene.
Oh,
They
yeah,
pulled
that's
40 people
cold.
out. Yeah, they pulled 40 people out when I did it. And we had been swimming in it because that was the year that it was 2022, that summer just didn't come until like late June, and that races in late June. So we had been swimming in super cold water at Lake Coeur d'Alene training for the half iron. So that day it was like 70. Well, I mean, it wasn't 70 in the morning, but it was the first like summer day. And so we got there and we're like, heck yeah, the water's going to be good today. And it was cold for people that, aren't used to it. So we had the advantage of being able to train in that lake and knowing what we were getting into. It was still
Yeah,
freaking cold every time
when
you get in, but your body's used to it.
because as soon as you slap Ironman label onto any race, you're going to get people from all over the country there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
my recommendation would be to not do an Ironman race as your first triathlon.
Yeah,
Your
I only
first
had
triathlon should be more local, a sprint or an
Mm-hmm.
Olympic, or even a 70.3. But I would not recommend Ironman as your first. In my personal opinion, it's going to be a lot of people. It's going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
I would wait until you had a little bit more experience before you did something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah,
for
I
the,
think
the amount of people that are there.
right.
That
And the
alone.
transition, like knowing how to transition, get on a team. I'm on a team,
Mm-hmm.
and I thank goodness, because that's how I learned how to swim better and learn how to do proper transitions. Like everybody has their way they do things, and you kind of
Yeah.
just pick from everybody, and you're like, oh, I
Right.
like that part. I like that part. So yeah, just being very organized is huge. And yeah, I did a sprint the weekend before my half iron, but that was it. And it was enough.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Just to get practice transitioning, because you can plan it out in your head as much as you want, but actually doing it is a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm.
Implementing it in real time.
Now to me, it's like, I can get ready for a half iron, no problem. It's like, it's
Yeah,
in my
you've
head.
done
I mean, I
quite a
still
few
have a
of them.
checklist.
How many have you done?
1, 2, I think 6.
Yeah, it's a lot. I've done 2, and I don't ever want to do one again. After I watched that guy wipe out, I was like, this isn't fun. Why am I doing this? This is not fun for me. I don't like it. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, that's why I like to get in the front. Like when I get in the swim, I'm in the, if the gun goes off at 6, I'm in the water by 6:05, no later, because I want to be with the people that know how to ride a bike and know how to swim.
Yeah.
And it
I'm
makes
usually
a huge
like,
difference.
if the gun goes off at 6, I'm in the water at like 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm the last one coming in. I don't have to worry about other people because no one's by me. I'm too far behind. I'm a finisher. Okay. I'm not a PR person.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, I don't like to deal with it. The first one I did where I had to, because, biking is not my strongest, but my stronger aspect. So like when I have to pass all the people on the bike, it makes me very angry, and it brings out the devil in me when people don't know how to ride a bike, which
it's complex.
is a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot to riding a bike.
So
and it's scary.
to not judge I try to get in the front with people that know how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Because
Yes,
are these like not regular bikes? They're like,
They're tri bikes. Yeah, they're already
well, some of
dangerous.
them are. Not everyone rides a tri-bike and a
No,
half.
not everybody. But they are still like wobbly. I mean,
But
I've
they're road bikes. Yeah, they're not like a mountain bike. You
mm-mm.
know, they're Lance Armstrong bikes. They're usually, but not everybody that's in a half Ironman is fit or experienced or knows what they're doing. And
what?
yeah,
Really?
yeah,
That's
because
crazy.
you can do relays with them too. So like, I mean, there are all body types there and all different levels. And there, I've seen the first half iron that I did. There was a guy in the water that I was like, "There's no way you're making it. That you're not going to finish in time. I don't even know why you entered." It's pretty wild. People think they can
Mm-hmm.
do it and they don't train for it, and it's interesting.
What's your, if bike riding is not your strongest of the three, what is, Heather, the running part?
Well, I
Swim.
just think I'm mediocre at all of them. So there you
No,
have
you're
it.
a good swimmer. You have really
Yeah,
good upper body strength.
yeah, I'm
Swimming's
okay.
easy for you.
When I compare myself to the pros, I'm pretty slow.
Well, yeah, I mean they're pros, but you're fast. You get good times, and you're confident, and you of all three of us, you're the most athletic,
I don't know
which
about
isn't
that.
saying much against me and Rebecca, but still,
I was gonna say that she is like so far ahead of us. Like
for sure.
you're so far ahead of me, and she's so far ahead of. Well,
Yeah, but
she's
you've
just
been
like,
running, Rebecca, and you did really well when we
I
ran this
walk
summer. I
really
was
fast.
impressed.
That's not running. I walk
Yes, you were
really,
running.
I walk really fast, and I try to walk every day. But
Hmm.
running is no.
Yeah, most people don't like to run, but you
It's
were doing it,
whatever.
and I was
Yeah,
impressed. I was proud of
yeah,
you.
exactly. It's whatever
I
works for
jog a
you.
little.
Like, yeah, it's like whatever is mental health wise. For me, it's like I
Yes,
have to have a certain level of intensity in my life every week when it comes to exercise so I don't get stabby.
yes. I know. Even my husband, we finally have been together long enough where I'll be getting snippy, and he's like, "Hey, you think you might want to go for a run?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." The only reason why
Mm-hmm.
I continuously run throughout my life and never quit is for my mental health, not for my physical health. That's a benefit to good physical health, but it's not for that reason, for sure.
Yeah. If I take more than 2 days off of exercise of some kind, it I start to get stabby.
Yeah, yeah. The struggle is real.
Mm-hmm.
We're meant to move our bodies, even if it's
Right.
walking. You know,
Yeah, I
just
was gonna
getting
say
fresh air,
anything.
walking, moving your
Anything will
bodies.
do.
Yeah, it helps everything. It helps
Mm-hmm.
you sleep better,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
you poo better, you
Mm-hmm.
Well,
feel better, you have more energy. Like it's everything, and it is not much. Like I'll tell you right now, I don't get much. But that 20 minutes a day, that's
Mm-hmm.
all it's all you need, really.
mm-hmm.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but I know that if you exercise 30 minutes twice a week, it will like add so many years to your life or improve your health by like this huge jump. And then 30 minutes 3 times a week is like a teeny tiny small jump. So don't get down on yourself if it's only like twice a week. But twice a week for 30 minutes, even just brisk walking is
Mm-hmm.
is going to take you leaps and bounds from where you are if you're stagnant and doing nothing.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
had
true.
like 2 days when I was like, I didn't do any, like, we were doing other things, like just driving around, but it wasn't like moving like we should have been. And I was like, I'm feeling really like I don't have any energy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know why. Because I need to move my butt. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's true.
exercise
It's
increases
amazing how
metabolism.
yeah, that you actually get more energy when you work out because you wouldn't think that. You're like, oh, I'm gonna work out. I mean, there's a point where you exercise so much that you're overly tired. Like I've done
Yeah,
that when with my training, and I've figured out like every person the way they train is different. You can't be like,
yeah,
oh, I can work out 6 days a week, and that's everybody person needs to do that to keep whatever conditioning to do whatever sport you're doing. But no, some people's bodies need more rest or less rest or more intensity. It you have
more
to find that
hydration,
balance
more
for
electrolytes.
yourself.
Yeah. My daughter, I found that her biggest issue is getting enough electrolytes in her. Like she gets dehydrated very easily. It's like night and day. She'll play a hockey game, and I'm like, girl. And then I give her, I really like those Element drinks,
Mm-hmm.
LMNT. For any of you out there, try it. Um, and I give her one of those before her next hockey game, and it's, well, the other parents are like, what did you give Coraline? She's like on fire. So, yeah, everybody's
Mm-hmm.
body is just different, you know?
Oh, just a word of
Nutrition.
warning, because this was just a news article that I read like 2 days ago. That, I mean, it's common sense. It says one a day, and do that because this lady basically poisoned herself by taking too many packets, adding too many packets of liquid IV to her water and drinking too much of it. So don't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it as directed on the product label. In fact, I was drinking those elements. I was drinking them one a day when I was training for my half Ironman. And I noticed one of my veins was starting to pulsate. And even with as much working out, I would work out sometimes 3 times a day, and it was too much. So I wouldn't, everybody's body is different, but even one a day might be too much for some.
Yeah, I only do like half a packet when I would like after I get done running on a hot day. I
Hmm.
do like a half a packet, and that was plenty.
Yeah. You just have to listen to your body and pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
More water, less packets, you know?
Right, right.
Hmm.
And if you're
Yeah.
not like sweating out your electrolytes, like drinking all that is just like in in your it's not being exported anywhere. You're not sweating it out, so it's only your kidneys,
Right. Yeah. If you're not working out
and that's hard on
intensely.
your kidneys.
Yes. Yeah.
So, well, anyways, that was yeah, that was cool, Laura. The history of it, I really enjoyed that and
Yeah.
learned so
Kind of
many
funny.
things.
Funny how sometimes things end up the way they are,
Mm-hmm.
26.2 miles. So such a annoying number.
It is.
So,
It is, but now I know why.
yeah. So 26.2 miles is our norm. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody, for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.